one's going to break down. I do anticipate this being a 2-0 now. I love AGM. He's my boy. Mike, I'm sorry, but this is just reality, unfortunately. This is not your strongest map, and I expect to see Envy come out swinging.
Well, it's actually Complexity that has, at least for Frisco, as he gets 2 kills. With the Ghost in the opening moments of the round, the numbers advantage over for Complexity, and we didn't say that very much in the last map. The Spike still very cautiously putting back. Hamza going to get his first chance. He's going to spot FNS, and he's going to spot the Spike. That's all the information you could possibly ask for here.
Well, this is a little awkward. Some fighting going on in spawn, but you do end up in a 3-on-2. The advantage here for Complexity. The Spike's been scooped back up. Envy trying to fight their way out of this one. It'll all fall onto Akis, who plays as the Sova here. And he's brought it down to a 1-on-1, but low on HP and facing off against a Raze who's already pushed through B main. It should be an easy spot for AGM, who played really good in that first map of the series, finishing towards the top of the scoreboard with ohai. And yeah, there you go. AGM's just got it on lock. Not much to be done there for Akis. Complexity win the pistol.
Yeah, it walked right into his crosshair. Unfortunate circumstances, but yeah, winning that pistol, winning the ever-important pistol round, that's going to give them money to buy up a little bit here in the second round. And if you're on the side of Envy, you're going to be operating with pretty meager resources. A couple of Ghosts and Classics the rest of the way, at least that seems to be the case for now. And on the side of Complexity, you got 3 Force Spectres. So you've got some punch behind you. The Spike outside of B. And it looks like it's going to be a pretty slow push. You know, oftentimes when you're on the eco round, you see teams just kind of like bunch up in death ball and try to overwhelm with numbers, even though they know they don't have the guns to boot for it. But that's certainly not the case here. Frisco, once again, having a strong start to this map as he takes care of mummAy as well.
Envy trying to move up Cat into the tree room, and Frisco, he's having none of that. 3 kills on the round for the Brim. AGM will spot the last target and just lets it go there with the Spectre. And eventually Calypso will fall. So it's another round on the board for Complexity. Off the back of winning the pistol, they win the follow-up. Here's a difficult round for them and a heavy investment coming in from mummAy. He'll go straight to the op, no armor. So quickly going to the op buy here as the Jet. We'll see if he's able to find success early on. You don't see a player currently pushing down Cat, so they're not going to have that aggressive Cat peek. It's actually the Breach, who looks like he's setting up for Flash over on long, despite the fact that there's no peek coming through.
Kaboose drawing first blood in that op, at least for now, for mummAy has gone unused. That's 1 kill in favor of Envy. The Spike making its way up mid, and again, we talked about this the last time we called a map, or excuse me, a game on Ascent, is if you can control mid, if you can unlock that, it allows all sorts of possibilities around the map. AGM getting the best of Kaboose there, as Calm is going to get taken out by Akis. That's going to allow them to flood their way over onto B, but they're met by the impenetrable wall that is AGM. He's going to get 3 kills. The Spike is going to very cautiously work its way back. mummAy's able to get one with the op. There's that heavy investment, but take a look at Akis, folks. He's going to rotate all the way over to A. It looks like there's one member on the side of Complexity who's sniffing it out, thinks it doesn't feel very right. Something funny is going on here. Akis is going to drop the door. That's going to give away his position, as everyone and their mother can hear that almost across the entire map. The Spike is going to go down. ohai is going to go all the way around, it seems, as mummAy's showing up as well. This is going to be straight up 2v2.
They're sitting on the other side of the door, getting ready to detonate. mummAy goes the full distance. ohai sending some of that utility out on towards the site. There's the flash, and AGM, who's found 4, wants the ace, not gonna get it. mummAy wants to go for the peek. He's not currently on the Spike. There comes the push, and it's well-timed from mummAy. He catches him as the charge comes through. That's one of the inherent problems with playing the Breach, is a lot of his skills, they have a bit of a spool-up time before you can get back to your weapon, your recovery time, back to your weapon. There's the word I was looking for. So a lot of teams have actually gone away from the Breach, favoring more towards the Omen, favoring more towards the Phoenix. You'll see Breach actually becoming less and less popular, especially once we get into bracket play and the bigger teams are playing at a higher level of play. It's just not as common as it once was. Early on in the beta stages, we almost saw no Breach play. Then we started to see Breach as pretty much the lock in every team's 5-agent composition. And again, Breach has become less popular. But you'll still see it shine through from time to time. Speaking of shining through, that was the flash that opened up that push over towards long. There's a nice flash coming out, and that time the delay not going to be a problem, as Kaboose was staring at the surface of the sun.
Get out of my way!
It's a man advantage here for Envy as they try to exploit this man advantage towards the site.
Tom's able to take care of mummAy, and FNS trades it right back out. The spike has made its way on to B site. It's going to get planted. Calypso running interference from back in spawn as ohai gets taken out. AGM's going to try to work his way up, but he has been spotted. He's the last one standing in a 1v3. The spike is down as well. It's a tough situation. Calypso's able to clean him up with the third kill of the round, and Envy takes an important round to knot it up 2-2.
I need this.
The money for Complexity here also not really in a great spot. So we'll go ahead and save for the time being for the side of Complexity. They're calling for pistols to come out. You can see AGM's on the Sheriff, as is Frisco. Armor being purchased by XP3 and Com. ohai saving up the money as much as possible to make sure the AWP can come into play. Speaking of the AWP, you've still got it in the hands of mummAy, who's moving over towards B main with the Cypher. They've got a trap down, or a cyber cage, I should say. There's the ult pop from ohai. That does early damage to Kaboose, but Kaboose gets away. Meanwhile, they actually pick off two. That was over on B main. That's Calypso and mummAy going down. That's a huge get, as that opens up the operator there for the defense. The attacking side gonna find two of their own, though, as Akis spots both players pushing through on A. So a bit of an awkward scenario, as they have spike control deep over towards B main. Com's gonna strike one with the AWP as well, and make things a little bit easier for them. They know there's one through market, as it was a wise no-shoot coming in from the brim, and it should be an easy kill coming in from Frisco. Never mind, FNS! He just spots him, turns around, decides to watch the back end of that, and it works out so nicely for him.
Called it a bit too soon. Com with the op. Looks like he's going to get a chance, but XP3 goes down to the hands of FNS. Now Com goes aggressive. He gets up close and personal. Is able to get one, but not able to get the second as Kaboose cleans up the kill. He's going to get the op as well, adding insult to injury. Envy take a one-round lead here. And this is where we start to expect, or at least is Envy, or at least ask the question, excuse me, is Envy able to rattle off a couple of rounds here? Are they able to create some separation? There's already 3 in the books. Complexity is going to have more guns to their name here, but if they can win this good on good round, this rifle on rifle round, Envy unlocks really the first half.
So I think what happened there on that flank play from the brim through market, there was the Phoenix mid, and I think the Phoenix mid put a ping down as he spotted him sneak in on the backside, and it just took FNS a minute to kind of gather himself back and realized what happened. Because it was really awkward. It happened so fast, it was hard to really know, but I think that's what occurred. Now over in Tree Room, we've got the brim with the orbital strike. Nice flash comes out, and Frisco thought he got around the corner. That's not actually the case. AGM inside the dark cover. Peeks through, gonna find two. Sticks inside that, and doesn't even matter. The Hunter's Fury does damage, but it's not enough. AGM, stalwart in the defense. As he's dropped down to 30 HP, it's all up to Akis, who was back towards long, popping that ult off, doing the damage. He'll be able to pick up one onto XP3. He's got the shock dart ready as well. The ricochet's not going to bounce in time to take down AGM, who looked like he wanted to peek, but has to back then off into the A site. Recon dart taken out immediately. AGM finds the 4K on the round. This man is on an absolute tear.
tear indeed. 10-3-0, leading the lobby, a head and shoulders really above everyone else. They're the closest. Our Frisco and Akis was 6 and 5. The assists being the one difference maker here. In Envy, again, we're poised to run away with this thing and rattle off a couple of rounds, but just as quickly or just as easily as it could have gone that way. Now they find themselves with nothing but pistols. Really in a position where they will likely have to give up the next round as well. But we've talked about this. When you find yourselves in an eco situation, oftentimes you'll see teams deathball their way up. Just group up, go as 5, and try to overwhelm them with numbers. That seems to be the case here. ohai narrowly missing a shot onto mummAy, but he's not going to miss up against FNS. The op just proving to be too much up against nothing but pistols on the side of Envy. The spike now has been picked up. Now is going to work its way up the middle. But the defenses there might prove to be too much. High XP3, AGM get in on the action as well. Akis is trying to do his best to make it interesting with 2 kills with the Sheriff, but it's still a 3v1. He may have the spike, but he is heavily outnumbered, and they know where he is. Even the audio cues may not be enough to help him out here. Yeah, he's able to get one. Frisco drops, looking for the second one onto Com, but Com's going to win that fight, narrowly avoiding getting completely embarrassed there, and Complexity wins that round.
Look at the scoreboard right now. 11 kills for AGM. He's been feeling it. Strong performance coming in from AGM, whose career has really had a resurgence in Valorant. Early on in his CSGO career, he was playing with some strong teams. He played with Shazam on one of their earliest teams in CSGO. But some things transpired, and we won't get into the details, that sort of derailed his career just a bit. But I still feel like he had a lot left in the tank, and you could see it here playing against the likes of Envy. Is that to say that Envy is one of the best teams in Valorant right now? No, but there's certainly a serious competitor, and AGM has been consistently performing against them across this second map and the first map, and we'll see if he can continue to do that as the series progresses. There's the ult coming in, the Rolling Thunder, the port coming out as well from Calypso to gain him access to the site. They haven't actually gotten the spike across just yet, and XP3 has spotted mummAy over in main. That's basically a free kill, as mummAy was not anticipating a player in that position already. The spike's been... No, it's actually not planted. The orbital strike comes in just at the nick of time to stop that plant, so they couldn't get it through, and now everything's falling apart here. It falls onto Akis yet again. He's been in this position so many times. And he's going to have to do it again. He has a recon dart. He's got the ult as well. Has to be careful. I love this. This is actually a big brain play. They pop the ult as the raise just to try to force him out into the open. And he just sits and waits as the shot comes through to close things out for Complexity.
AGM showing that he can frag out, showing that he can galaxy brain you. 12-3 with some fancy plays at the end of that last round there as well to give Complexity 3 rounds in a row. It was Envy who we talked about running away with things, rattling off a couple of rounds in quick succession, but it's actually Complexity who's done it as they look to continue to build off of that. As you guys may have seen on the scoreboard there, Envy doesn't have a ton of money. They were mixed buys. I think I saw a Bulldog, maybe a Spectre, and a couple of pistols the rest of the way. So things don't feel great. If you're Envy, the question to be determined is whether or not Complexity is going to be able to punish him for it. XP3 is certainly doing his best to ensure that that's the case. As mummAy drops, that's going to be a one-man advantage on the side of Complexity. The spike has been picked up, and it looks like it's going to be a play onto B, but without guns and without numbers, just how much can you really ask for here? They're going to drop the curveball as the entry, but Cage has been used. They're going to get spotted. Kaboose snaps on him. XP3 never traded out, however, with 3 kills in the round. Akis evens it out, but it's still a 3v2 in favor of Complexity. Envy keeping this thing close, however.
That was a great recon dart as well. It stopped that push from coming through a little bit further. There was dark cover down as well, but as soon as it hits the wall, there's no follow-up shot as he has to take down the recon dart and fall back just a bit. So now they're going to go ahead and try to get into the site for the take. And there's the ult coming out, the Hunter's Fury. Sending out pulses. Akis is going to maybe connect on one. No. Doesn't even get that hit on the player pushing up on lane. AGM times the peak well, like, around the paranoia. And it's a flawless retake coming in from Complexity. Again, we mentioned this. They played this team on Ascent already today. It was the opening match, the opening map for both teams for their group. And it was a 13-3 win for Envy. So already doubling up their round total from that first map. That bodes well for Complexity. It's possible they just had a little bit of rust that was built up in a period of inactivity, and they've managed to shake that off now as they've gotten warmed up throughout the day.
Hey, you know, maybe it was just the nature of a sluggish start. Whatever it was, whatever they've changed, it's certainly working. 4 rounds in a row, AGM 13-3, and even ohai, he's not negative. He's at 5-5. He's still using the op, and it's working for him. Looks like it's going to be a bit of an aggressive push here. ohai gonna miss on that first shot, not gonna connect, and we haven't seen a lot of focus around A, but for the first time in as long as I can remember, it looks like we may get a play that way.
Frisco up on the box over towards short. Wants to peek so badly. Just holding this line right now, waiting for the push to come through. Calypso is sitting on the other side, waiting for a peek to come in. And there's FNS. Yeah, not much can be done there. I understand the position he's in. Tries to time taking out the dart with the peek. Almost would have been better to just peek, knowing that the pulse was going to give away your position anyway. Stuck between a rock and a hard place. Not much you can do.
Joke's over.
Speaking of being stuck, Frisco gets paranoid. He gets pushed on, and Calypso's able to take him out. The spike is going to have a red carpet entry onto the site. Kaboose, however, is able to take care of AGM. It's going to be a 3v3 here. The spike has not been planted. AGM rocking that up from heaven is going to miss as Kaboose gets the best of him. Calypso gets one as well, and that's going to leave the in a 2v1. Calm, the last one standing, but he's got the intel. Looked like he was able to deal a bit of damage, but the spike is going to go down anyway. We'll see if he tries to make a play. He swaps out for the Phantom here. He's going to try to be a bit sneaky. The door is closed on that sneaky play, however, as he has to get that out and then rotate his way back. He's got one member in Hell, and he's got one member in A-Long. mummAy's gonna spot him. Oh, but he snaps on him anyway. He's able to get one, and that's gonna leave things in a 1v1. The clock is ticking, however. He's gonna have to bust a move, and he's gonna have to do it soon. Kaboose waiting because he knows exactly where he is, but he's gonna be spotted. That's shooting out the dark. He's given his position away. He's gonna have to make a move, but he runs out of life. Kaboose able to take care of Calm. The spike is gonna go off, but it doesn't matter because he got the slays to get the round win. Envy putting up an important one there.
Round coming in towards the tail end of this first half for Envy. It's absolutely huge. mummAy, slow performance, but he'll come through when necessary with that op. Hopefully. Let's see. Time will tell if he's going to pick things up. Here's the first shot, and this is exactly what we were talking about. He goes for that peek in towards B main, but again, this has happened before. They take one step forward and 2 steps back. AGM gets aggressive over on the A site, and it just works. It just does. He's found 2 kills on that push more than once in this first half. And that's a large part of the success we've been seeing for Cole is actually the AGM show as he's stomping out player after player. And because of the fact that both teams are rocking a sageless comp, there's no res coming in, so there's no ability to try to bring things back in their favor.
Revealing area. Nowhere to run!
Blocking that op. You hear the Hunter's Fury come out, but it doesn't matter as ohai gets up, gets the op, and gets the shot. On to FNS, Frisco gets one as well. And as quickly as it seemed like the action was going to kick off, it comes to a screeching halt at the hands of Complexity. 7-4, 1 round away from taking an 8-4 lead going into half. And this is not what we expected, given how this map played out the first time these two squads met.
No, not at all. We anticipated Envy was going to walk all over them, given how easily they did that the first time. But Whatever the reason is, whether it's just figuring out what their opponent was doing after watching a VOD back of the first match, maybe even a potential bit of just fatigue or some mental lapses coming in from Envy. Whatever the case may be, it's working out well for Complexity. AGM has to be careful. There's the recon dart going in. It's actually towards Wine Cellar. That'll allow them to pick up the orb. The nade's going to go in. Oh, you can't do much. You just got to challenge, and that's exactly what he does. And that's just AGM with a big brain play. Has to be careful as the push is coming through. So as smart as the first play was, the second play not so much. They'll lose control of Long, kind of. Support comes in by way of Smoke, Molly, and Cyber Cage. And that'll keep them from pushing for the time being. Calypso, in the meantime, has managed to push into the market and has a backstab play on B main. And here's the footsteps of Calm, going to catch him with his knife out. So that is a huge kill and a big pickup. Envy spots Frisco as well. The defense is crumbling here as it all falls down onto 2. It'll be ohai as the breach and XP3 on Catwalk as the Cypher.
3 out of 5.
A 4v2, and it wasn't a 4v2 for very long as XP3 drops. The numbers heavily in favor of Envy here, looking to go into half 7-5, unless ohai can pull off some sort of magic, and that's certainly going to help his cause. Akis gets taken out first. The problem is, it's not just the 3 members you're going up against of Envy to keep this thing alive. The spike is down as well. There's a knife. Looked like he may have actually gotten a wallbang on there, but not enough to get the kill. Now he's going to push onto site. mummAy greets him with a knife, slice and dice a little bit of sashimi, and we're going into the second half, 7-5 in favor of Complexity.
Envy, with a little bit of success towards the tail end, at least caps off the half, so it's not too bad. They did have a little string of rounds there. After they picked up the first buy round, they broke the back of Complexity's money and put themselves in that position. AGM, 17 kills and 6 deaths in that first half. That's crazy coming in from AGM. He's the only player on his team with armor coming into the pistol. On the opposite side, you've got armor for Akis and FNS. Kaboose favoring the Frenzy. Ghosts for the rest. They are going to be moving in towards B main early. And there's a shock dart coming out, not a recon dart. That's awkward. AGM makes it look so good. Blast pack goes down, bops himself up in the air, and it's a jump shot on the mummAy, who I guarantee you is like, did that really just happen?
Envy in general is feeling that way as they find themselves down 5-3 or 5-2, excuse me, as far as personnel goes. Envy is trying to claw back into it, but Frisco again trades out a kill as Calypso goes down 4-1. Envy's down to 1. Last member, it's FNS. Gonna pick up the Ghost with a pretty cool skin, might I add. But it's a tough situation here to be able to try to take this back without the personnel, without the positioning. Trade it out, get AGM to hurt a little bit more, but just a tough situation here if you're Envy.
That was just a dirty play to open that up. Whether or not that was intentional, whether or not that blast pack was just coming in to take out tripwires, it worked out well. AGM went sailing through the sky and just bopped him. It was quite nice, actually. And we'll even take a look here at the replay so you can see how this went down. You had mummAy holding this angle, waiting for the push to come through. The smoke goes down, and inside the smoke goes AGM. Yeah, you can see the blast pack. I think he actually intended to blast around the corner, but when he ran into him, it was just like awkward, so he just went straight up, and then just a jump shot into mummAy.
Either way, it worked. It looked flashy, and it was a lot of fun. What's not fun right now is being a member of Envy. They don't have guns. They don't have kills right now. Frisco's able to get the second one as Calypso drops. And they also don't have the numbers advantage. The spike completely on the opposite side of the map. As it looks like they were just going to try to slay their way into things. And so far, for Complexity, it's working. ohai gets FNS as well. And Akis, mummAy drops a flawless round with the gun advantage, as we expect for Complexity.
Complexity continue what they did in that first half, picking up the pistol in the round that follows. This, though, is where things get awkward. Look at what they bring to the round. 4 SMGs, only 1 rifle. So yeah, their money will be fine in the round that follows. They will be able to buy. If they win this, it's just brutal for Envy. If they lose it, so be it. That is brutal. Not much you can do. You have to peek. You have to challenge. Yeah, there's the kill coming out. Really well played from ohai, even though he fell in the advance. Calypso's on site. Gonna Paranoia out. Actually, it was a dark cover that came in first, then a Paranoia. Tries to get onto site, and he does. He actually manages to escape and get back behind Generator, but it was a full shift off of B towards A, and they've left mid wide open. That allows XP3 to get into a strong position for a backstab on the play. As the Sova has rotated out of position, that's Akis now who's in spawn. They've got spike control as well, so they'll be hustling over towards the B site. The problem is, look who's managed to get back towards mid. It's the Omen. Does he catch him? No, but at least he gets the intel. He should have spotted him on the cross.
The problem with this is it's just taking too long. Ouch. Right? How much longer are they going to allow this thing to play out? XP3 is able to take care of Akis, and that's certainly going to help. But when you think about the advantage that they had, getting onto the site should have been much more effortless than that. Calm, however, is going to take care of Calypso. It's going to be a 2v1. mummAy, well, mummAy's done it before.
No more charges left.
And he's poised to do it again. This is certainly what we like to refer to as winnable. 1v2, the spike has gone down. He's going to push his way in. He's going to spot one. Yeah, he's able to get it. That's going to leave things in a 1v1, but oh, he peeks the wrong way. Calm is able to get the best of him to win the round. Complexity up 10-5 over Envy.
Taking a look at some of the games that are currently happening off stream, Lemonade Stand was able to pick up map number 2 against Gen G, 13-6. So they lost map 1, 13-5. They won, I think it was Bind, so they lost Split. And they won, yeah, they lost Split, they won Bind. And now they're moving into the coin flip map for that series, which is Ascent. So a couple of the qualifier teams doing some damage. Bloom was one that did damage early in the tournament, but weren't actually able to pick up the big wins we were hopeful to see. They challenged TSM early on and put up really good numbers. So impressed with what we've seen from them. China win. Also, another team that's put up strong performances here, coming in from the qualifiers. Love to see it. Here's the push coming up from short. Speaking of strong performances, it's ohai who just destroys despite being blinded by the Phoenix. Kaboose just gets sent to the wayside. And the defense now reduced down to 3. There's one, though, that's awkwardly trapped in spawn. It's XP3, and he's got the spike. The rest of the team is trying to figure out where these players are out, and XP3, I think it's him that's putting down pings. He's calling out positions, saying, like, they could be here, or maybe it's the other side. It's hard to say. But XP3 might not get this timing quite right. Goes to the peak. There's Calypso around the corner. The SMG is not strong enough. XP3 finds 2. You still got 1 trying to come in from the back end of the play. Luckily, Calm is there with the save. It's a little bit awkward, a little bit clumsy, a bit ham-fisted, one might say. But Complexity walk away with the victory in the round regardless.
It doesn't have to be pretty, and that certainly wasn't, but it worked. That's 4 rounds in this half in favor of Complexity. And XP3, kudos to him, too, to be boxed in, essentially, as he was, to be able to fight his way out of that and get the kills that were needed. It was a nice 2-piece there out of him to force his way out of spawn. Again, 4 rounds in a row for Complexity, but if you're Envy, this is where you need to get back on track. You're going to have rifles as well, but take a look at how Complexity are playing this. It's a 5-man death ball waiting on the other side of B. They have not pulled the trigger quite yet, but there is an option. Just waiting. He's going to get spotted. He's going to fire, and it's going to go a bit wide. He's going to drop that smoke, and this time not going all the way in. The Rolling Thunder comes out as a red carpet, as entry into the site. Here comes the Hunter's Fury as well, not connecting onto anyone quite yet, and that's because XP3 was able to take him out. The spike tries getting its way onto the site and is going to be able to do so, but here come the reinforcements from Envy. The cavalry has arrived. The neural theft is going to be there as well, as Kaboose is able to get one. They continue to push their way up onto the site. You hear the running back has been used with the flash as well, and Kaboose getting a pivotal kill. FNF gets it as well, and it's down to a 2v3, still in favor of Envy. Now a 2v2. The spike is ticking. XP3, how the heck does he do it? But Kaboose gets a third kill in the round, and that's gonna leave things in a 1v1. Kaboose, Calm, and Kaboose with the 4th kill, getting the best of Calm, getting the best of Complexity, and putting up the 6th round with the defuse.
It's a costly round for Envy, but they stopped number 12 from going on the scoreboard in what would have been a solid round win for Complexity. Now, Cole still has plenty of cash to fall back on. AGM's the only one whose pockets aren't exactly lined with money, so he's going to need some support. XP3 offering that up, putting in the big buy for his teammate who's putting in the big performance. While his first half performance was strong, second half, the rest of the team is picking up where he left off. He had 17 kills coming into this second half. He's currently sitting at 20. The rest of the team definitely matching his output. Calypso again throwing that one-way down over on long, but they aren't afraid of it. They just peek behind it regardless.
Mid control left completely open for Envy, with the exception of a camera. As you see, 2 members of Complexity work their way up. The camera has been shot out as well, and that's going to be some info that there's at least someone looking that way. But you see the breach, you see the brim working their way up. If they turn left towards B into market, they will see the back of, yes, I believe that's Akis once they get past market, excuse me. So he's in a good position to at least stay alive, but the door is closed. They're going to shoot their way out of it, and that's going to give them plenty of intel as you see the spike work its way up to B.
What? Akis with the quick transfer coming out off the rifle. Somehow found that second and third kill. It was a bit of a sweeping motion. Call it skill and a little bit of luck, but it works out well for Envy as Akis finds 3 on the defense on B. Complexity not finding success there. The money is still good enough for a buy to come through. Unfortunately, XP3 not going to be the one to come in with a rifle here, as he had to buy his teammate in the last round. But look at this. Frisco comes out, and then that third one, it was just sort of accidental. He starts to flick back. He's just so close that the shots connect. Unreal.
Yeah, I wish people jumped into my reticle like that when I played. You know what I mean? That never happens to me. I don't know. Either way, it was pretty, and it was a lot of fun to call. But Envy clawing their way back into this thing. They've managed to rattle off, that's 2 rounds now, to slowly bridge the gap between them and Complexity. We talked about Envy potentially running away with it here on this map, and it's actually been Complexity that's impressed, but Envy is far from out of this thing. Once again, mid-control established by Complexity. There's the Hunter's Fury. Doesn't look like it's going to connect onto anything, but it might be just enough to force Complexity to work their way over to A.
Calypso inside the smoke, not able to find success as ohai is there to take him out. FNS will peek onto Calm, and the Neural Theft will be popped to give away position. There's the curveball coming out, but a counter flash coming out from the breach, as well as the flashpoint will at least slow them down. ohai has to be careful. He tucks himself into the corner. Another flash about to come out potentially from the Phoenix, and it'll go right over top of his head. Spam coming through. Starts to change positions, has to find an angle, starting to spot heads. As they start to make their way out, they do get slowed on the advance, but it doesn't stop Kaboose, who had already dropped into sight. I love this from AGM. Goes for that early rocket pop. There's the ult, and it's right on the money. Don't believe they got spiked to halfway either. No, they did not. The Brim ult being popped as well. This is great utility use coming in from Complexity as they hit the switch to find number 12. Everyone must die. All pieces fall, but it's Complexity who hit round number 12.
Complexity 1 round away from forcing map 3 here on the last series of the day up against Envy. And it's been a really impressive performance. I mean, there's so much to talk about when it comes to Complexity and how well they've played this, especially given, again, the first time these two guys played, it was filthy on the side of Envy. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I want to say it was like 13-3 or something like that. Either way, it wasn't even close. but this time it's Complexity who's putting up an impressive performance. As I say that, however, AGM leading the lobby is going to get taken out.
Akis using the Owl drone, getting some intel towards B main, spots at least the first target. Not sure if he saw Frisco, who was back behind the box. mummAy playing towards the market right now. You've got two players working up long as well. Complexity spent a lot to win that last round. Multiple ults sent towards the A site. So they're going for orb control early on here to try to put themselves in position where ults could be brought back into the fold if this game should continue and Envy should find themselves on double-digit rounds at some
Joke's
point.
over! You're dead!
That's a big if at this point, though, as Kaboose goes for the ult mid. He'll run it back down catwalk, doesn't spot anything. Might actually give out some false information that they're moving towards B, and if that should be the case, you can see this backfire. They're actually working up into the A site, trying to get onto the site, though. There's one still there. There's the spike being dropped. Akis picks off another. The round falls apart. They went for a split play, and it doesn't work out so well for them. 8 rounds on the board for Envy.
And Complexity's not gonna have any money. They don't have anything to buy anything with. This is not a good situation for Complexity. And look, you've got a long enough of a leash to where this is okay. You still got a couple of rounds to play with, but the last thing you want to do is give a roster like Envy an inch, because they will take the whole mile. They're gonna have guns, they're gonna have money to boot as well. Complexity can very easily let this thing get out of hand if they're not careful, but they're once again gonna deathball their way up B long. They may not have the gun advantage, they're gonna try to have the numbers advantage to get something onto the site here, but mummAy not having any of it. Getting 2 kills early on, Akis gets one as well.
mummAy from the backside of site, finding 4 on the round, making it look easy as he crushes the push that comes in from Complexity. To be fair, the push that came in from Complexity wasn't all that great, as they didn't have a lot of utility or hardware brought into the round. Still, though, mummAy padding the stats a bit after a somewhat disappointing performance from him. We praised him. We were singing his praises coming into the tournament. mummAy's going to be the player to watch. Watch mummAy with the AWP. He's the guy to watch. mummAy thus far has not necessarily hit that point. To be fair, when we've watched them, we've seen them on Bind, and he plays the Cypher, which is awkward for the AWP player. It doesn't feel like it really makes too much sense. And here his numbers not necessarily hitting the standard that we're accustomed to. There's the Rolling Thunder coming out, and it actually hits both players. So both targets on site affected by the Rolling Thunder. The knives come out, and it's not going to work out so well. Calypso, who was in the backside of site, went for that port and actually does find success. It'll come down, though, to a 2-on-2. As the spike makes its way across to the site, it will be planted momentarily. You've got the Cypher in B main. Phoenix coming through for the defense in market. Cypher from spawn. Both players trying to group up together. The utility being spent, but it's actually the shots from XP3 that are right on the money. Comes down to the 1v1, and it will be ohai to close us out with a victory here for Complexity. 13-9. Map number 2 goes the way of Cole.